Ten Hag getting sacked at the end of the season does seem like an inevitability, and if it does happen, I think a main reason behind it will be Marcus Rashford, and I'm not even just talking about his commitment or off the field issues, I'm also talking about another issue which I do think Ten Hag has to take some responsibility for. But before I get onto that and the tactical side of things, let's first address the whole incident that happened last week, and even though I can't really think of much to say about it, I just think it sums up Marcus Rashford's whole United career. That incident alone just screams to me a player with a lack of top-level mentality. I know it's a cliche, but back when the likes of Roy Keane were there, even the likes of Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, this sort of thing would have never happened, particularly for a key player. And if you, like me, are dreaming about that era, the Ferguson era, then go over to Jersey FIFA. You can check out all their Manchester United retro jerseys through the 2000s, going all the way back to the early 90s. If you use code Atlantis at checkout, you'll get a discount. A link will be in my Instagram bio, which will be linked in the description below. But as I said, I mean, the mentality around the whole squad, I don't actually think it's that bad. I just don't think there are the sort of characters that there were that keep these sort of players in check. I mean, Marcus Rashford really and truly should be that sort of talismanic figure, the player who sets the example. And the fact that players like him and Jadon Sancho, and you could even throw Anthony Martial in there, players on these massive wages who, when they were signed, and even when Ten Hag took over, you would imagine they would be key players. The fact that those are the problem players is probably the biggest issue that United have at the moment in terms of the whole mentality of the squad. Because I actually think when you take out Martial, Sancho and Rashford, that the squad's actually pretty good, and I do think a lot of them get tarnished unfairly with the brush of not having the right commitment or attitude issues. I think someone like Scott McTominay, I don't think you can accuse him of not having the right commitment and the work rate. He's just not good enough. And I think you could say the same for a number of players in that squad. But when you have a player like Marcus Rashford, who should be United's key player with the wages he's on and the position he commands in the squad, when he's the sort of player that's causing these issues, which are really just unneeded completely, I think you just have to get rid of him. Unfortunately for Ten Hag, I don't think it's going to be enough by getting rid of Rashford in the summer to keep his job. And this brings me on to the issue I talked about at the start. I think Ten Hag's biggest issue right now is that he really can't afford to leave Marcus Rashford out for an extended period. And what I mean by this is that when you look at when Ten Hag's United have been at their best, particularly from an attacking point of view, is when Marcus Rashford's been at his best. Because when you look at that forward line, I know Garnacho and Højlund have extreme potential, but right now they just don't have that maturity or the ability to really drag the side through like Marcus Rashford can when he's in that purple patch kind of form. And I think Ten Hag has become far too reliant on Marcus Rashford because of our lack of ability to control games and constant need to transition the attack quickly. In order to create substantial chances and actually win games, we need to create those chances for Rashford. I mean, when Rashford is on form, with Bruno Fernandes behind him, who I actually think is pretty consistent with his delivery to Rashford, United do seem like a completely different side from an attacking point of view. But I do think that's the issue. Ten Hag's attack is far too reliant on quick transitioning attacks and therefore far too dependent on Marcus Rashford himself and Marcus Rashford's form. And that's why you can draw a direct correlation between United's overall dip in attacking output and Marcus Rashford's dip in attacking output. It's not that United aren't creating the chances for Rashford or getting him in those sorts of positions, it's that he's not in that purple patch kind of form anymore. And when he isn't taking those chances, United just don't create enough or score enough to win games. And so that's why I think that Rashford's put Ten Hag in a massive dilemma for the rest of the season. Because I personally think if Ten Hag has any hope of keeping his job, Rashford has to be on form. And so Rashford is going to have to play. Ten Hag's going to have to find a way of getting him back to that purple patch kind of form. Because honestly, even though I do want to keep Rashford out of the squad just to prove a point, I can't see us getting anywhere near the form needed in order to get back into the top 4 or anywhere near it. And so this is why I do think we'll see a punishment for Marcus Rashford of some sort. But if I was Ten Hag, I would still be looking to get him into the squad, just because I don't think the attacking output is going to come from anywhere else. But if we take Ten Hag out of the equation, I think United have to be looking to sell Rashford this summer. He's still going to bring in a massive fee. You're going to get massive wages off the books. And I just think United can reinvest that money so much better than relying on Marcus Rashford, who's proven, particularly this season, but also throughout other seasons in his career as well, that he's just not the sort of player that you can rely on. And if we are paying him the sort of wages that we are, I mean, that has to be a given. And so for me, if I'm the new director of football at United, the first thing I'm looking to do, first firstly get the big wages off the books such as Varane and Casemiro, but particularly with the incident that's gone on in the last week, I think selling Marcus Rashford has now become a no-brainer. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the whole situation in the comment section below. Would you sell Rashford in the summer? And subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you do get notified when my videos come out.